Welcome to another edition of Treasure Tuesday. This is a very special day because I am sitting here, oh my God, with the one and only Steve Siler. Steve is a marriage family therapist, and when I was living in Mendocino during the dark time along my journey in the redwoods, Steve was that angel who basically helped me to get across to the other side, that helping hand that helped me move out of the darkness and into my life, the life that I live today. He is an extraordinary resource and ally in my life and one of my favorite people on the planet. So I feel so honored to be able to share this conversation with you. We're going to be diving into some pretty deep, awesome topics. So if you are somebody who's struggling along your path and you're really looking to break through, you're really looking to claim your best life, your most inspiring journey, and keep watching, this conversation is especially for you. So Steve, without further ado, I would love to introduce you. There's so much more I could say, but welcome.
Thank you. You're amazing, Veronica.
Thanks, Steve. I have a personal question, actually. How did you start on this journey? Because you're a powerful healer and an extraordinary therapist. How did you embark on this journey, or what is your mission or purpose for being a therapist?
Well, I was 40. I think I was 40 years old, getting divorced. But at the same time, my children from my first marriage, this was my second marriage I was getting divorced from. It had been 10 years, and my kids were just leaving home. My son was just leaving for college, and my daughter was right behind him. And we had to sell our home as part of the divorce settlement.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there. I'm no longer married. I'm single again. I don't own anything. As part of the divorce settlement, we took the equity from the house and paid all the debts. So I'm at zero. I owe nothing. I have nothing.
Wow.
And my 20-year mission of raising kids is complete. And I've been a single dad for 16 of those 20 years.
Wow.
of really doing kids. It was a big deal in my life. And so the question goes, what now? So, okay, here we are. Clearly, we're at a crossroads. What do you want to do with your life? Because now we're at a point where something new is happening, and get in front of it instead of behind it, and really start to understand, there are forces alive in your life. And I sat in that question for 18 months, 2 years, maybe. I mean, it was really I was really consciously making a choice about what are you doing with the next 20, 30 years? For real, what are you doing? And being the kind of person I am, meaning had a lot to do with it. What's the deepest meaning? What do you hear about? What context works for you that allows you to emerge more than you have? And what it came to was doing this work, going deep with myself and people, and being in a conversation, like all the time, with what it means to be a human being.
So you took your natural passion, your natural proclivity, and you just chose to go full-hearted into that. So then you went and got your education and went on that whole journey of becoming a therapist? Yeah,
exactly. I got in a graduate program at the University of San Francisco. I had to commute 2 years of that, 3,000 hours of internship. The whole thing, you got to get licensed. It was a big deal.
So anyone who has a dream, there's no excuse, because you were in your 40s and you were 40 or in your early 40s, and you just followed your heart. There was no sense of, I'm already in my 40s, I shouldn't do this.
In your 40s means it's time to do this.
Could you say more on that?
Well, it has to do with midlife. It's what your 20s and 30s were about, and who you thought you were that's a stage of life, and you're building something. But by midlife, you're really starting, you now know, I have less years ahead of me than behind me. I am not a kid anymore. I mean, even kids don't see me as a kid, even if I'm trying to be cool. They're kind of nice to me, but I'm not a kid, you know?
Yeah.
And life becomes about meaning. It's not about building, it's about meaning. What's it mean? Carl Jung called midlife, you climb to the top of the ladder and you realize the ladder's leaning against the wrong wall.
Oh my God.
That was Jung's definition of midlife.
Amazing.
So you got to climb back down. You got to move the ladder to where it needs to be and get back up there. And that's the quest for meaning.
Yeah.
So that's why, and these days where, you know, when I was a kid, 60 was old and 65 was dead. I'm serious. That was lifespan.
Yeah. It's changed.
And today, if somebody dies at 65, everybody says, oh my God, they were so young.
Yeah.
You know, because now it's 85.
Mm-hmm.
So midlife career change. It's just like divorces, just like, you know, major shuffles happen in midlife, and they're supposed to.
Yes.
It's like necessary because the purpose, meaning changes. As it should, because there's a whole part of you. The fallacy we're taught is you grow up for 21 years and then like take the muffins out of the oven, they're all cooked. Yeah. Go live your life.
Right.
No, it takes about 70 years to cook muffins, and because there's different things that have to cook at different times.
Yeah.
And there's stuff that cooks in midlife that you can't cook it sooner. Right. You cook it in midlife. And there's stuff that cooks in as an older adult that doesn't cook until then.
Yeah.
To there. And there's stuff that cooks at the end, you know, in senescence.
Would you say it's the same for each person, you know, the kind of themes, or it's different, it varies depending on the individual?
Well, you know, it's not like one size fits all, but yeah, there's absolutely stages we go through in our lives. How we do them is different, and then what we're informed by and just our natural proclivities and all that kind of stuff is part of it, you know.
Yeah.
But still, you know, there's a point where you do not define yourself as a beautiful young girl. You're a beautiful middle-aged woman.
Yes.
And that's a different definition.
Right.
And what's it about now? And it's, everybody wants to use that midlife crisis crap, you know. You know, it's, if you did the homework and studied for the test, it's not a crisis. It's just something you have to go through.
Yeah.
If you didn't do your homework and you didn't study, it's a crisis. So you really aren't prepared to accept that you look like a 40-year-old instead of a 20-year-old, and you call the plastic surgeon. That's a crisis.
Yeah.
Because you're and the crisis is identity. Yeah. That's the crisis. Yeah. How do I keep being who I am is the wrong question. It's what am I evolving into?
So powerful. You're literally speaking straight to me right now because I'm turning 40 next year.
Hey, happy birthday.
Oh, yeah. I'm really excited, actually. And I feel this, I love you use the word emerge. There's this emergence happening. And now I'm hearing the word emergency, and it does feel kind of like an emergency because literally
that rock and roll song, emergency.
Emergency. I don't know, but I'm ready to break out into a dance. I don't even know.
No,
it's interesting. I've been noticing this last week, you'll appreciate this energy coming through me that is like no more of the old form of my life.
Wow.
I've only been showing a certain degree of myself. And as I become more successful in my life and my business and things start falling into place more, and Jason and I are really happy and my life is really beautiful, suddenly this other part, I don't want to say it's an ugly part, it's a powerful part, it's a messy part, it's a wildness, and it's definitely the artist that wants to come through and tell stories. And I'm finding myself making videos that I'm not posting, but I need to, that are this...
You need to do another show, Veronica.
Yes!
Something really dark.
Hallelujah! I'll totally do.
Lady Macbeth, you know?
Oh, yeah, that is like suicide. But true. I'm noticing there's no longer the ability to contain the parts of me that I don't find should be publicly demonstrated, like only that I deem as scary to reveal, like the wild, messy artist or those parts of me. they're just coming up now, and there's a desire to share them as art, as beauty, rather than stifling these energies. And I feel maybe it's what you're talking about, this emergence in midlife, where there's no longer, it's not about asking, how do I stay the person I am? It's, what am I evolving into? And I feel that evolution happening really strongly. And there's a risk, because it feels like, will people still love me? Will, everyone?
Yeah. If I pull my cover, then what?
Right. Everything I've built, if I'm a messy artist too, and I'm passionate and I'm poetic and all of that, it's a little bit, it's untamed, right? But the me I am in the world with my work is very together. Then what happens? Will those people still accept me as I am? So there's this whole needing to surrender and let go.
Be undercover and be as I am, because you're not as I am if you're undercover.
Right.
That's your presentation, and that's what they're accepting.
Right. A version of me that's not entirely.
It's sanctioned. Yeah.
Yeah, it's outdated. I love it.
Code. Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say to someone who is in midlife and they really want to start over? I have this question a lot. A lot of people excited to become.
I'd say add to, not start over. Start with that.
Love it.
Building on something.
Yeah.
You know those Russian eggs where there's an egg inside an egg inside an egg inside an egg?
Yeah.
That's kind of a worthy metaphor for what you're talking about. Is open this one to find that one, and there's more yet, and there's more yet, and there's more yet. Getting down to the heart of the matter.
Yeah. Cool. So where does, for someone who is in a life that they feel locked into, I'm thinking of many examples, a new mother who's lost her identity as a young girl, she's 25, has kids, and now is responsible for the household, or someone in their mid-40s who's a powerhouse corporate leader who is done, who's collapsing in that life and really wants to go write books and start a different life, a more peaceful life. Like, what would you say to someone who is done with where they are? Where's a place to start? Is it to leave everything behind?
That's pretty dramatic.
Yeah. Right?
It's, you don't have to have a fight with your past self. Remember, you're living your past self, your present self, and your future self all at the same time. You have an idea of what you're going to be 20 years from now, who you are, the things, your dreams, your wishes for the future. That's all there too, just like your past. And you're not going to turn your back on that, I hope. And so why turn your back on this? You're looking at, well, Jerry Garcia called it the long, strange trip, and Paul McCartney called it the long and winding road. But you're looking at your path. And so that's your particular walk. And the things that you have done that got you to where you are, once, how we always get the hindsight perspective, 10 years later, you go, oh, that's what that was about.
Yes.
Well, sometimes you can't see it yet, but it got you to here. And so the question is, what's next in your unfolding?
Yeah.
What's next? And how do you get the time and opportunity to actually sit in that question? Like I said about my change, I had the luxury of being by myself.
Yeah.
I mean, what a luxury. For a year and a half, like most every evening, I don't have a TV. I'm not like filling my mind with video games and cell phones. I'm like literally sitting with reading, about people's lives and thinking about the ideas and considering, I guess it would be the word I'd use. Yeah. I got to do that for a year and a half. Hardly anybody gets to do that.
Yeah.
It was a remarkable window.
And I feel that people can create that even when they are in a full life, rather than turning on the TV, to go into your bedroom and read a book. The books that midlife book you suggested, and there's a butterfly on the cover, Finding Meaning in Midlife or something like that.
Oh, James Hollis.
James Hollis.
He'll rock you.
That book is so good.
All of his books are amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, so like that, it's how to utilize every single day to, I love that you keep posing these questions. What am I evolving into? And what is next in your unfolding? You know, it's really, and you sat with this question rather than racing to an answer, you really sat with it. So when you're sitting with a question, are you meditating on it? Are you exploring? Are you writing? Are you journaling?
Yeah. All of that. Yeah. I mean, I don't try to force it into a particular practice. Yeah. I'm just kind of organic around all of those things. I do all of those things on occasion, if that feels like that's how it needs to come out of me. Yeah. Or if I need to put on AC/DC and dance around the living room, if that's what, you know, like that needs to get out of, then that's what happens.
Yeah.
I need to go get in a kayak and go upriver. It's like, I need to be there. And I kind of know I do, so I do it.
Part of what I went through in sessions, during our sessions in the beginning, right, in Mendocino, was this